We're a media brand and talent marketplace based out of Los Angeles, California. And we have a somewhat unique view on what it takes to engage students around job and career readiness and to better expose them to the level of insight that allows them to personalize the career exploration and job fit outcomes that they really want to see. So I'm going to share a couple of things with you about that. So as I mentioned, we're a youth media brand. We're focused on education. So when we think about how we approach students and how we approach our overall content strategy and universities and employers, we don't think about ourselves necessarily as ed tech. We think about ourselves as media, right? When you think about the 8.5 hours to 10 hours that students spend consuming media for information, entertainment, and insight, our user experience and again, our editorial voice as a media brand reflects where kids already spend their time from that standpoint. We have focused in on, however, as a outcome of this engagement, and particularly around helping employers through our platform discover talent among liberal arts students that had great fit talent and day one readiness for internships and job exposure. So part of what this is one of the things that we've done across our research over the last year or so in dealing with students across different areas is we find that particularly within the liberal arts school that students kind of have the most pain, right? Where you have a phenomenally talented group of students who academically can be successful at philosophy or history or things of that nature, but are extremely challenged when trying to translate their success in a field of study into a measure that the marketplace kind of recognizes that says, I would be a good fit for something else in the job role. So we leverage a piece of technology developed by an industrial psychologist out of Georgia Tech that we've licensed the exclusive rights to, and we've made some modifications to with the data set that help translate certain predictive personality attributes and cognition attributes directly into job role functions. So we can be highly suggestive to young people that based on your talent index, it's highly suggestive of you being a good fit and a high performer for a job role like business analyst or research analyst or something of that nature. Part of what we also work on with students through our engagement strategies, kind of what some of you may be familiar with, the kind of T-shaped individual kind of construct. So we talk about not just having kind of a vertical technical competence, but also the ability to kind of quickly adapt to interpret other kind of data points in order to come up with a succinct point of view. And so when we believe this to be the kind of ideal athlete, if you will, that many companies are really looking for when they're hiring for fit. In doing this, we've got what we call an edutrainment framework. Part of my background was in entertainment. I owned a production company for 10 years. I worked for Turner Entertainment. Dealt very much in a far less noble way of entertaining, engaging young people around content. So a lot of the frameworks that we use in terms of a company is we first have to be interesting, and then we need to be insightful and accurate. Part of what we attempt to do with our edutainment framework is I'm a Gen Xer, and I say, listen, if I could go back and talk to my 19-year-old self, knowing what I've done now across politics and public policy, management consulting, and entertainment, what would I tell myself? And in quite the modern vernacular, we say, well, what's bullshit and what's the real deal, all right? So we incorporate that both in an online way and in a workshop way. We piloted this year with the Dean of Liberal Arts at Miami University our Career Hacks platforms that integrates both our app and a workshop format. So you can see there, real world knowledge, unfiltered advice, actual companies, real jobs, no bullshit and free, right? Kind of the key things. The only thing that's missing from there is free food. We had free food involved in that. And so we got almost 200 students to sign up within 48 hours. One of the requirements that we were trying to test from an engagement standpoint is could we get students to commit voluntarily, right? So this is at the end of an academic day, 2 hours across 6 sessions, or a total of 12 hours. And we were able to get 40 students to kind of complete the program, right? So when you think about engagement and commitment at a certain level, that's a very important metric for us. Secondly, the content that we put together and the experience we put together is not academic, right? We, in our mind's eye, we do not look at ourselves as a class. We look at ourselves as an experience, right? So we have musicians and DJs that open up our sessions. We have sponsored food. We literally do set design when we go into the rooms. We think about what images we want up during which components of the class. We bring in real world speakers. One of our lead investors is the founder of Zico Coconut Water. We brought in the head of talent and culture from a hot startup out of New York. We bring this up in little 10-minute snack-sized bites to serve up to students inside the experience. We create engagement points for them to be able to talk to and get this insight, right? No bullshit advice from these speakers, and then we have them encouraged to talk amongst each other. From the employer side of this, in our business model, the employers kind of pay. They subscribe to have this kind of always-on recruitment and readiness apparatus available to them. We emphasize kind of talent analytics-driven job role matching and a level of job readiness based on the engagement that we're able to achieve with the students. For the particular pilot that we had, with a lot of intentionality, we kind of distributed it among large Fortune kind of 500 companies, Inc. 5000 companies, and some startups. Clearly, young people seem to be more interested in kind of the Inc. 5000 segment, so something that we'll be expanding a little bit more in our rollout. I mentioned our talent analytic. What we emphasize to employers is the leveraging of big data and this talent analytics, the ability that we have to be diverse on the top end of the funnel. Thank you. The industry and employer branding opportunities that exist both on platform and off platform, and the fact that we can actually help students build or help employers build talent pipeline management, that is identify talent early, well before they graduate, that they can nurture along the way, and then we leverage some social recruiting. During our rollout right now, we're up to 28 universities. I mentioned year-round and great engagement. We focus on the top 20 MSAs. Here are the schools that we'll be rolling out to in the fall. This year, we're really excited about the partnership that we have with, and we work directly with students in a peer-to-peer model. So in order to be cool with students, this is not coming through career services. This is not a top-down administrative function. This is really a student-to-student function. That's a very important part of the engagement element. This is a compilation video that we put together. If you're really interested in some of the things I've shared with you today, I'd love to be able to show it to you before we go live with that here next month. And that's it. So I thank you very much for listening.